Good morning and welcome back to Coffees with Toffees, guys. It is the end of the week and we are, I guess beginning of the week, it's the end of the weekend, so we're bringing you a whole new show as we do every Monday with all the information that maybe you need, updates from and etc. It's going to be a short one today. I'm by myself. I don't have a lot of folks here. Everyone's getting sleep after the TI. It was exciting. It was excessive. It was burnout worthy. And it was a very long week, and it's not over. But the group stages are. But before we get into that, quick introductions. As always, my name is Toffees. If you like what we're doing here, if you like the morning show, I say we, it's just me. If you like the morning show, if you like the cast, follow me at Toffees_Dota2. You can also follow the YouTube channel or the new SoundCloud that we just came up with. It's just soundcloud.com/Toffees_Dota2 with the live RSS feed, so you can actually listen to the music or listen to the morning show on your way to, say, work without having to worry about any bandwidth issues that might come up along the way. So that's our goal, expansion. If you like the show, tell your friends, and always, of course, your support is appreciated here. So that said, that's our introductions. Like I said, I am by myself, so not a whole lot as far as people joining me today. So I'm going to talk and try to keep the flow rolling, but that does usually mean it's going to be shorter, as I won't have anybody to banter with this morning. All right, so the new SoundCloud, we mentioned that. Let's go to talk about the group stages and how they fell out. So, as you guys know, looking at this giant bracket, it's pretty abundantly clear that the massive portion of the tournament, the truly tough stuff, the group stages, are over. 16 teams went in. 9 teams came out, and that's kind of a very important thing there. Then we're going to do a play-in, which will put us at just the right amount of teams for the actual final. So, let me make sure it's 9. Yep. No, I'm sorry, 10 teams came out. It has to be an even number. I thought something might be awry. They'll eliminate 2 more during the next phase of playoffs, and eventually we will have that final 8 that go into the overall main event in the key arena, which they're setting up for right now. I'll try to find a picture of that for you, actually, as we get a bunch of stuff put up. So the way that tournament fell out initially at the end of the day, Vici Gaming looking very, very good. Obviously they're at number 1, 12-3. Evil Geniuses going 11-4. Team DK is 10-5, and then it sort of just goes down from there. Invictus is 4, so that means that the Chinese teams, Sans, LGD, are sitting at 1, 2, 3. They came in aggressive. They came in good, man, and they really put up a fight. So LGD is down at the bottom of the survivors bracket, as we're going to call it, but at the end of the day, they definitely did not perform as well as a lot of the other Asian teams that we kind of expected them to. So that said, EG, North American team, in the top 4, in the top 2, something some people said couldn't happen. NA Dota is dead, right? That's the claim. I don't think it's the truth. So that's the way that falls out. Now, the problem with that was, as you notice, there's a bunch of ties here, so they can't have that going into the final bracket. The 5th place had a short round robin to determine seeding, and remember, seeding is important because of the way that the playouts work. If you're not in the top 2, you do have to play other teams to get into the winner's bracket, and we'll explain how that sort of tiers up in just a minute. But Navi, Cloud9, they go 2-1. Liquid and Titan go 1-2, and then Navi beats Cloud9, Liquid beats Titan. So that breaks up the 5. The 9th place one was interesting because that was prepping out for who was really going to be having a hard time when we talk about going into those finals brackets, because someone's going to have to fall below, someone's going to have to play to potentially get eliminated, as you saw LGD have to do. So LGD ended up being pushed down into the last possible spot. I'm sorry, I should rephrase that. So LGD and Mouse Sports and Newbie played for that 9th position. Remembering that 9, 10, and 11, 9 stays on but plays for their life. 10 stays on but plays for their life, and 11 goes home. So this was a pretty big match. Mouse Sports unfortunately lost the big tiebreaker and was unable to advance in the tournament, and were sent home. LGD and Newbie will be playing for their life going forward here. So it's surprising to see Newbie down there. I want to say that first and foremost, but they do survive, and they move into the Phase 3 section. So I pulled up a little look at Phase 3 here. And basically what happened yesterday is Liquid and LGD had their playoff to see who would stay in the tournament. You'll notice that these last 4 teams are all going to be playing each other for who gets to stick around. LGD plays Liquid. Liquid loses, and not only does Liquid lose, but they lost pretty hard twice. It was not pretty. It was not at all what I expected to happen. But LGD advances, goes up against Cloud9. Cloud9 then beats LGD and goes on to face DK. DK wins out over Cloud9 and advances to the winner's bracket. So it went exactly the way that we expected it to. But here's the deal. Only Liquid goes home. Essentially what happens is we, down here in the main event bracket, it's not filled in yet, but what you'll see is DK will either will most likely fill in this spot here, but could also very well fill in the spot up against VG. The guys who lost, the LGD and Cloud9, will fill in these spots down here in the losers bracket, presumably 1 and 2. So that means that those two are not out of it, but they are going into a playoff in the losers bracket. That said, the losers bracket is a best of 3. So it means that there's definitely, it's not like last year where you get a one and done sort of deal. They have a chance to continue in the tournament and move on to the higher levels. So be looking for that. What does that sound? All right, sorry about that. Little pop up from the webcam. All right, so the main event, or not the main event, the second round of group stages starts today. It's going to be at about 12 o'clock EDT, so hour count right now, about 4 hours from now. You could be watching the same time of day, so I probably shouldn't say that. I'll just stick to 12 o'clock EDT. Titan is going to go up against Newbie first. So this is a pretty big game. It's going to be Southeast Asia versus China. The Dota 2 Lounge odds on it are 33% Titan, 67% Newbie. So not a big surprise there. Newbie was actually a favorite to win the tournament, or at least be in the main event when they walked into the stadium. So the fact that they are playing for their life at this stage of the game is actually surprising a lot of people. That said, Newbie does pretty well. They performed very well against Titan so far in this tournament. In fact, if we go up and take a look at the last time they met in the tournament, it would be Newbie versus Titan. Here it is. So the last time Newbie went up against Titan, looks like actually Newbie lost, so I was mistaken. Titan beat them out last time. So while Newbie has the advantage of the betting because they are expected to win, Titan has beaten them, so it should be a pretty good game. The one who advances there moves on to face Navi EU, and then the one who advances from that will go on to face IG. So this is a very tough road. Similar to yesterday, maybe I think in a lot of ways this seeding is a lot harder than yesterday's was in terms of competition. When we pull it back down, I'll show you again. I don't think Cloud9 or LGD or DK are bad teams. I think DK is one of the best teams in the world, obviously. They're up there with IG. I think Navi, however, we can all agree, is probably one of the most famous teams and longest lasting. And Newbie is legit as far as the Chinese Dota scene goes. So these are 3 matches that all have Titans in them and will eventually have more than one Titan feuding. Now, my heart goes to Titan. No, there was no pun intended there, by the way. My heart goes to Titan and says I hope that they advance. They're a team that is coming from an underdog region, and as a person from a region who's always been counted out as well in these tournaments, I respect that and hope that Titan keeps moving through. I'd love to see them in the main event. If they could beat Newbie and maybe just lose to Navi or IG, then they go into the losers bracket. If they're still in the tournament, they make it to the main event. They get to go on the big stage in front of the huge crowds, and that's pretty exciting. So we definitely want to see that happen. That said, that'll fill out the main event and put us in our position for who's going to go where. My picks for today, I think, as the popular thing is going to go with Newbie over Titan. I think Titan's got something to prove. They're standing up for a whole section of their region, and I think Titan beats Newbie, Navi beats Titan, and IG beats Navi. So those are my picks for today. It seems like I think it'll go very similarly to yesterday with a big upset on the Titan Newbie front. But it is yet to be seen, and we'll see how that one goes, so keep an eye on it. And obviously I can't give you updates on the additional games as they're TBD, so if you want to make the bets on Dota 2 Lounge, literally the moment that a game ends, the bets will go up, and you'll have a couple of minutes to get them in before the next game starts, so make sure you're on top of that. All right, quick update on picks so far. Just keeping you in the listing loop, basically. Let's pull this over here so we can take a quick look at it. It is currently, Razor is still the #1 pick with 73 games. His win rating, however, is dismal at a .39, about 40 if you round it up. But he does he can grab. Skywrath Mage is the #1 support in the tournament at 68 picks, as is the Shadow Shaman coming in third with the 60. Now those two supports both have win rates over 50%, so that's a little more encouraging. Shadow Shaman, one of the better ones in the tournament so far, at 0.55. So he's doing very well with a 55% win rating. Doom is at 49 picks. He's sort of becoming kind of like this tank slash counter to a couple of very specific heroes, like the Brewmaster, for instance, or the Faceless Void. He's doing very well against them. He's at almost a 60% win rating right now, so that's pretty good. Mirana, Tidehunter, and Brewmaster kind of round out the top picks there, but I think the real story of this TI is going to be the Razor and the Skywrath Mage. I do not see them not being picked. They're going to continue to get picked throughout this tournament, and it is going to really, I think, affect the meta for a little while, though I don't know that Skywrath Mage will last too much longer. Now, the beauty of the Skywrath Mage, in my opinion, the reason that we're seeing him so big is A, he's got tons of damage output, but more importantly, at the early stages of the game, he has essentially what is a Doom. He's got that long silence that he can put out there. When no one has BKBs, there's nothing they can do to stop it. And really, he can use it at any point. So he can kind of lock people out of the game early on while Doom gets online. And then once Doom's available, or the rest of the team is better suited for their team fights, he then doesn't have to worry as much. So Skywrath Mage is kind of like a throttling device in a lot of ways, much like you expect to see from a Treant Protector, who, surprisingly enough, we have only seen picked 16 times. Now, if you remember ESL, he was in every freaking ESL game 16 times so far. So, interesting facts there. Let's move into follow-up news for the last couple of days. Things that are going on in esports. Let's see. The EVO Championship Series, definitely got to mention that. So EVO Championship Series, they had a big showdown for the Super Smash Brothers World Champions, or the EVO Champions, I should say. And it looks like C9's Mango defeats CRS's Hungrybox and gets a second title in a row. So I think a second in a row. I'm not a huge follower of Super Smash Brothers, but from what I understand, he won last time around, and he's won again. Started out a little bit behind, was having some trouble with, let's see, it looks like it came down to a match between Jigglypuff on Hungrybox and Fox on Mango, and in the final he came back from a 2-0 in the set, but managed to get an insta-kill to finish the game out and take himself to the win. So it went 3-2 in the finals, and not too shabby. Worth noting that Mango and Hungrybox fought each other in the last semi of the winner's bracket. Hungry went to the loser's bracket, beat out Armada, and then came back to play against Mango, where he did lose again. So a good grand final. I don't watch a ton of it, but from everybody I've talked to, they said it was a good one. So glad to hear that. Let's take a spin back through the game news. Make sure I didn't miss anything. Liquid was eliminated. It did not go well. They didn't seem all that happy about it. Pretty tough. So let's open. Here we go. All right, so the caster schedule is out for the remainder of the Dota 2 tournament, and it looks like, where is the page just unloaded? So it looks like we're gonna have the 14th today. The first game is going to be done by LD and Lumi. We're going to have Toby and Lumi doing the second one, and LD and Cinderin will be doing the final game this evening, and that's going to be pretty late. It's almost 9 hours between those games. On the main event upper brackets, these are the upper bracket games. We're going to have LD and Lumi on the first series, Toby and Cinderin, and then LD and Cinderin on the day 1, series 2, so that's the main event. Lower bracket is going to be almost exclusively Toby, Cinderin, LD, Lumi. Like, those are the casters who are doing the entire main event. So anybody who didn't know that, now you know. And pretty interesting picks here. I think that Toby and LD were pretty much shoo-ins. Cinderin has been one of the most popular pro analysts, I think, over the last couple of months, so I'm not surprised there. Lumi is interesting to me. I think he does a great job. I didn't expect him to get the honors of the main event, so many of those casts, up against some folks like Merlini, for instance, but he got it, and I think that that's great. It's definitely opening up a new regional availability, and putting some new stuff out there. So it's pretty exciting that we get to see some new talent on the main stage, I guess I could say. And finally, the grand final is going to be Toby and Lumi. So names that are missing that are very interesting, besides Merlini, AC is somebody who's cast a lot of main events in the past, is not on the list for this. And I think what this shows is a move of Dota 2 from just casters to caster/pro combos, into caster analysis combos, and it's also showing a brand new focus on a little more theatrical and / quality in the stream. So I'm interested to see how it goes out. I think it's very interesting to see that AC and Basekip and some others have been left out of this one, but you never know. Someone might get sick and they may make a comeback. I do know that the analyst panel is going to be pretty good, as they're going to have a lot of great talent they can tap to bring over to there. And hey, it's a big shout out to Renessa, one of our viewers who's logged into our Twitch stream so she can say good morning live on the air, and welcome. So if any of you are watching this on the SoundCloud or the YouTube replays later today, remember you can always wake up bright and early and have your coffee with Toffees and right into the show where we will talk to you directly if at all possible. So those are the caster updates for moving into the main event. Other big news that you need to know is the retirement, or the suspected retirement, of Lanham. The hero of DK has posted and said that he is going to retire after the International 2014. Is that true? Most likely. Will it be true if the prize pool hits $20 million next year? Probably not. It's one of those things. It's kind of like the Brett Favre retirement announcement. You don't know what that means. Is he freeing himself up to start his own team? Is he just retiring from DK? Is he leaving the sport altogether? It'll be interesting to see how that changes out as we move forward. So that's going to be pretty interesting. That's about all of the stuff that we have for you in terms of video game news today, so we'll close that out. We went over the Dota Lounge. We'll give you a quick, let's see, we'll go over the news first before we do our potato salad update. And the things that I think you need to know today for your news is, well, first and foremost, I think the thing that everybody's talking about right now is Germany lifts the World Cup for the first time in 24 years. They beat Argentina 1-0. The entire match was back and forth, no point, no point, no point. Finally, they score at the very end of the second overtime, so the second half of overtime, and they get the win. And it was a beautiful game. I mean, Germany did a great job, and as an American, I'm more than happy that they won, simply because it means that we lost to the champions by a point. So that means that our team is not too shabby. Had we lost to somebody like, say, you know, that other team that got beaten by 7 goals to Germany, you know, that might have been a different story. But we held our own, and I think it just proves that Tim Howard is, in fact, as good as they say he is. I was a little travesty that he didn't get the Golden Glove, that they gave it to the German keeper instead. It is what it is, and I'm pretty excited to see the future of U.S. sports based on the fact that Germany took this one so comfortably. So that's the first one. Second, thousands flee. So the Mideast tensions, we'll give you a quick update on that, because we have been, is expanding and getting bigger. Israel dropped leaflets into the northern Gaza to warn residents to move away from Hamas sites to avoid military strikes. Literally 10,000 Palestinians have fled as tensions escalate. So basically, Israel saying we're going to drop bombs on the Gaza Strip. If you are not Hamas, get out. People are starting to leave. So a little bit of an interesting strategy. It reminds me of the pamphlet wars that were happening in Berlin during the Cold War, during a lot of that isolation time, where people would fly over and drop pamphlets that gave messages and tried to encourage the people on the other side to support or push down their governing groups. So interesting there. Other things to talk about is the World Cup final was pretty quiet over on NPR. The headlines are, where'd it go? I just had it. Sorry about that. I must have hit the wrong button. Let's open this back. Here it is from NPR News. There is a drone that was taken down. And basically, a drone crossed over. Israel shoots it down. So we're getting some other things going on besides just missiles flying back and forth. This announcement might be interesting to you. Lindt Chocolates just announced they're going to buy Russell Stover, which is interesting because it is a foreign company. Russell Stover is a classic American candy. So there is a little bit to go into that. The Pope came out yesterday and said in an official statement, and this is, I'm not making this up, that 1 in 50 members of the clergy are pedophiles, and that is a leprosy within the church. So that's a pretty high number. I mean, that's massive. So the fact that this is the first time the church has ever actually acknowledged that it's an issue is a big deal. And the fact that the number is that shocking means that they are going to be forced to do something about it. So that is encouraging to see it changing, discouraging to see that it got to a 1 in 50 rating. And that is a little too much. Finally, Tommy Ramone, the last original member of the Ramones, died yesterday at the age of 65. And he had a big tribute to him, but that is essentially it. So that's your news for today. Nothing too crazy is happening. I haven't heard from ISIS in a while, and that's really what we've got for you in terms of the news. The potato salad update, I'll pull it over so you guys can take a quick look at it. It is official that Mr. Zach Danger is up to $49,700 to make that bowl of potato salad with 19 days to go. Curious to what he's going to get that up to, but that's a ridiculously expensive potato salad. He better use some truffles. Alright, so that's it. That's all of the news that we have for you today. Make sure that you follow the channel if you don't already over on Twitch, twitch.tv/Toffees_Dota2. Make sure you follow me on Twitter at Toffees_Dota2 because I announce when the shows are going live. If you didn't know, my primary goal or job is casting Dota 2, and you can see when I'm casting. More importantly, though, for the morning show, after the show finishes recording, the YouTube link and the SoundCloud link go up on Twitter so that when you're getting ready in the morning or you're driving to work, you can just hit the link, pull up the RSS feed of the video, and watch that as you go about your morning. That said, guys, that's all that we have for you today. I'm going to pull up some music for you, and we're going to leave you with the sounds of, let's go with the Kicks this morning. And that is pretty much it. So, guys, have a great day. Get out there, watch some Dota. It's going to be going all night tonight, so you will have no excuse not to see it, and we will be here again tomorrow morning to talk about how it fell out and how the main event is shaping up. But, as always, enjoy the music, and Toffees out.